in the D1 redevelopment overlay district. Staff?
Good afternoon. This is a continuation of, this case came before you back in April, and it is for the Draper Myers Funeral Home. They are, it's zoned commercial reuse, backs up to commercial general. They have laid the foundation for a storage building to store their cars, and they, were asking for more details on the colors and materials and landscaping and such last time. And so the applicants are here today to answer those questions. But other than that, nothing has changed. So that concludes staff's report.
Thank you, Ellen. Okay, anyone here to speak on this matter? You approach the podium and state your name, please.
Hello, my name is Reverend Eddie Lashane, Draper G. Myers Mortuary.
Hello, sir. Does anyone have any questions of the Reverend?
I think last month we were talking about, was there going to be any landscaping around it?
Yes, sir, there will be landscaping around. We will secure a landscaping company in order to do whatever the city recommends that we need to do as far as site.
Site,
Okay.
site plan, site.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the certificate will be issued. Our second case today is case DRB 2024-08. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness for the exterior changes and signage to be located at 204 West Pine Street, specifically identified as Florence County Tax Map Number 9088-01-010 in the D3 Arts Cultural Overlay District. Staff?
Good afternoon again. The applicant does want to install 2 wall signs, a monument sign, and change the color scheme of the former Rite Aid building at the corner of Pine Street and South Irby Street. As you may recall, it's been sitting vacant for quite a while. It's been purchased by Dollar Tree, which I guess they've been doing that across the country, buying old Rite Aid buildings and renovating them. So it is zoned Central Business District, and it's in the D3 as well as the Irby Street Corridor Overlay District. And this does fall within that purview as well. These are the signs that they want to put up. That's their traditional interior lit acrylic, I believe they are signs. They're a little bit off of the building, and so they'll put them on both the front elevation and the elevation on Irby Street, as well as, so both street elevations. And then on the monument sign out front, where it used to have the Rite Aid sign, they'll just put this on there as well. And then their proposed color scheme, they'll just clean up the building, and most of the changes they'll make to it will be interior. But they won't put their characteristic green stripes along the edges of the building. So this is what it looks like right now. And that concludes staff's report.
Okay. Anyone have any questions of staff?
Did their changes fit within the guidelines?
The colors, painting the colors on the building are, the main issue is that these signs are interior lit as well. But they are on the Irby Street corridor, which does have a number of interior lit signs. So it's not the historic corridor.
Is the street sign interior lit as well?
I believe so.
I think that's,
Yeah, they do have outside light. I didn't know.
but that might just be the old,
Yeah, that's what it is.
that's the old lights, is probably what it is. I think.
And Rite Aid was not interior lit.
Not at the street, it was.
I don't think the monument sign was, but I believe the ones on the walls were.
I don't think that's out of character for what's going on Irby Street.
Any other questions of staff? Anyone here to speak in this matter? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and open it up for discussion or a motion.
Can we require it to be not Interior.
Illuminated?
Is that something we've done before?
But if there's others around it on the same street,
But that's also a section of the street that we've been trying to, it's probably the most rundown section of our entranceway into town, and if we're trying to implement changes for the better at some point, whether those other ones were grandfathered in, I don't know, just, something to think about, like, when do we make the change to stop interior
well, what's the
lit?
Dollar Tree's operating hours? Like, cause if they're open till
I'm sure they're open
7
after
in the
dark.
winter time,
Yeah.
I mean, it's also gonna help people, as a business owner, you want people to see where you are and if you're competing against other lit signs, but I see what you're saying, every lot you
Right.
get closer to downtown.
So this is across the street from the church,
That's
and
right
next
beside-
door to Florence School District 1.
Yes.
And,
Across from the bank,
across from the bank,
all of which have lit signs, I believe.
yeah. Are we more worried about the signs or the painting of the building?
Both.
I mean, I looked online at some of their other renovations of other Rite Aids. This is pretty, they've dialed it back quite a bit on this one.
Does staff have a recommendation?
It could be a lot worse. Is that a recommendation? And they will do the landscaping, which I think it will be an improvement, obviously.
Yeah,
over-
Anything will be what it is right now.
I mean, as far as the sign goes, I think, we always encourage businesses to, in that area with the monument signs to uplight onto their signs. And, we even go so far as to tell them, if they're within the price limits, we can administratively approve them at that level. But when they want to go internally lit, it kicks it into having to be board approved and taking a bit closer look at the district. So yeah, I think,
The Rite Aid was
we prefer
front
it to
lit?
be, we prefer it to be uplit.
And looking at the monument sign picture there, it almost, are those lights?
There's some existing lights there.
It was uplit.
Yeah.
It was Rite Aid, I'm sure they'll tap it, yeah.
A little
It was
close
uplit
here.
prior, yes.
So if they were doing this,
Dollar
if,
Tree would
say,
Like
like Hilton Head
literally.
Island or St. Simon's Island, they'd say, no, you gotta,
But it
you gotta
makes such a
get around
difference.
like this.
That's right.
So they're not, they're not, it's not an unusual thing for them to get a request.
No, I wouldn't think so. I would think they're very accustomed to it in other municipalities and other zoning districts.
I'll just give this one other perspective. We have a sign with uplights and, we're in a very low foot traffic area, so there's not much to worry about. We still get like an ant bed built around the light. There's a little maintenance. I would just throw in, this is probably a much higher foot traffic area, and you don't want the lights to get kicked or pine straw to get kicked over it and have to deal with that as a business owner. But it's probably a small thing, but I just know that area of town has a lot more people on foot, and people get mad these days and destroy property for no good reason. I'd hate for somebody to keep kicking their lights.
May have to protect it with some landscaping.
Yeah, landscaping could help buffer that.
I think from a aesthetic standpoint, it would be definitely better for uplighting. No one's going to miss a Dollar Tree. It's there. It's not like they're going to, not see it per se.
Yeah.
Just in terms of, I guess, moving forward and other businesses down the road, opening up. Well, Dollar Tree has a internally lit sign, so why can't we have one?
Are we talking about just the monument sign and not the wall signs? Or both? As far as internal?
That's the way I'm leaning.
We could certainly make that a condition, is that they be uplit on the monument sign.
If
They're
other
closer
lights
to
are
the
already
road.
there.
I would encourage that, and if, you'd hate for
I don't
a
think they'll
vacant
allow
building
it.
not to
Yeah.
become something because of it, but But I would say encourage the uplighting on the monument sign, but not on the building, and if there's pushback, it's something.
I think we ought to get up lighting on the building too, tell you the truth.
I agree with you.
I mean, I just, you know, I think that they would do this, you know, if this is what we're requiring. I can't believe this is me. I'm usually the one that goes along with everybody. But I think if they see this in other jurisdictions, they see this in other towns, I mean, this is not an unusual thing. I think we ought to, you know, ask them to do it that way, to uplight both, and then tone down the stripe on the building. And I'm like Dr. Keith, I don't think anybody's gonna miss a Dollar Tree if it's like that. And I guess we gotta start somewhere.
I mean, if they're saying that they've already dialed this one down compared to others, I mean, I don't know how much people talk, but you'd hate for them to say Florence is more difficult. We already dialed it way down, now they're asking for more. Again, I'm not trying to stick up for them, but.
It would also be a lot cheaper for them to do it, I would imagine, rather than backlit, to have light showing on the
Just some
side.
goosenecks or something.
Has there been any new development in that area that has the internal lit signs? I remember you saying there were some already there.
I don't know, there's the Exxon across the street.
And that's kind
It's not
of
really-
grandfathered
Yeah.
There's the Wells Fargo, kind of catty
corner.
That's it's a little further down.
Yeah, but that's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
There's not been anything recent.
Yeah. I could go along with that, yeah.
I can't remember internal lit signs passing since I've been on this board. It's one thing we've been trying to get away from
Yeah.
since for 6 years.
So I'll make a motion that we ask them to do bottom lit signs for both and to change the color of the stripe on the building and the awning to more neutral.
So basically nix the green stripe, just do the neutral there as well.
Yeah.
So anything that really fits in the color palette of what's approved for zoning.
Yes. That's what I meant to say.
When you say bottom lit, obviously on the
I mean,
monument,
like-
but on the,
Exterior lit.
on the building,
Well,
it's
we
not
got
too
the
kind
pink
of
over
gooseneck
here, you know,
type.
like where's it go next to it?
Could they do a down light as well as an up light on the building? It might be easier to do a down
Yeah,
light
that's
as
a
opposed to an up light.
Downlight or uplight.
Just not interior lit.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I don't have much expertise with this, but my concern is more 5 or 10 years from now, how well it looks versus when it's brand new. So, I mean, even like the green stripe, I mean, if it's a nice brand new looking stripe, but then you hate to approve something that 5 years from now, like it's just a real eyesore because it kind of stands out and it's not well maintained. But then at that point, you don't have much.
And the other thing to keep in mind is they are permitted, or they're just allowed outright window signage to a certain extent. So they can put that in those big windows as well.
As we found out, yeah. That's my motion.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Certificate to be issued. Our final case today is case DRB 2024-09. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness for exterior changes and wall sign to be located at 184 West Evans Street, specifically identified as Florence County Tax Map Number 90168-02-027 in the H1 Historic Overlay District. Staff?
All right, this is in the former Consider the Lilies building. It is at the corner of Evans and South Irby, in the Historic Overlay District, and it is also zoned Central Business District. And this is the building with the old signage. It was a flat sign with, I guess it would be vinyl or painted on letters on kind of that grayish green stucco. The new tenant is proposing painting that area of this storm cloud gray and then putting his signage on top of that with the, as vinyl graphics as well on a flat backer board, and then just words, ice cream, candy, and more, to kind of be very similar to what Consider the Lilies started with. He's basically wants to do the same thing. So there'll be no dimensionality and no lighting on this one as well. So that, the proposed sign is non-dimensional, does not appear to meet the intent of the design guidelines. The storm cloud gray is consistent with color palettes in the downtown. Staff's comment was that a more vibrant choice might be more consistent with an ice cream shop, but the gray would be fine as well. So that concludes staff's report.
Anyone have any questions of staff?
Was the last sign within our,
No, it was not.
okay.
I went back to try to find it, and I could not find when that sign was approved.
You said the sign's not lit at all, correct?
Correct.
What would make this sign in compliance?
If it was dimensional, and say, like staff was just playing around with it, that the letters maybe in the bottom on pins instead of on a board, and maybe just the smiling scoops, just the logo itself, extended a little bit instead of being on a backer board like that, just coming off of the background.
And I mean, I really think it lends itself to maybe a sandblasted, like one of the new PVC routed sandblasted signs, or where it's just an emblem too. It doesn't have the white backer around it. It's just up on the building, you know, with some like white pen letters below it with the ice cream, candy, and more. Or you know, or I think that sign could even support some neon in some key places. Would be really cool on it. But obviously, get it a cost at that point. So I don't know what the budget is for the sign. But I do really like his logo, though. I will comment on that. I like the ice cream. I like ice cream. I like the.
I mean, I'm
I really love the design of it. I think it's real good for an ice cream shop. Yeah.
And the applicant is here if you want to ask him questions.
Okay. Do you have anything you would like to say? If you would approach the podium and state your name.
Hello, my name is Stoney Dupree. I've been born and raised in Florence, been here all my life, and I, have a couple other businesses in Florence also. But it is in the budget if we were able to put neons on the sign. I do want to add that in, and if not, then just like my lady right next door, they got a light shining on the sign. So I do want some kind of way we can light the sign up. That's all. Thank you.
You'd want to light it up exterior from the exterior, correct? Not
Yes.
internal? Okay.
Yep.
Just to clarify that. Anyone have any other questions?
Was
Tim?
the purpose for using this sign just more to save money, or do you have a specific
Well,
attraction to this sign?
well, I thought it kind of followed the codes that I had to go with. But like I said, there's no budget on the signage. I can, make it light up.
And
I think the
just-
dimensionality is more the question.
Gotcha. Just for clarification purposes, when you guys say neon, what do you mean? Not just the color, or are you talking about something else?
That would against everything.
Derek, if you could pop the sign back up there. I mean, we talked about it internally a little bit, and we just, first off, we went to, a sandblasted would be the easiest way to add dimensionality to it. And that's where like the traditional way is with like where you take wood and route it out, and it's got some dimension to it. But they do that with PVC plastics now, and it looks like wood, and it adds some dimension and shape to it. But we also talked about, if you really wanted to get fancy with it, you could take, this red around the edge and the sunglasses, you could add a little bit of neon lighting to it and really make something pop there. If you got with a sign company that had, could provide you with some designs on that and really make it kind of pop. And we talked about how it would look a lot better, if it wasn't on the big white backer board, if it was just the sign without the white behind it, and it was up on the building. And if you wanted to go, like I said, the simple way would be to do a routed or a sandblasted sign. But if you really want to make something fancy, that sign just seems to lend itself to some neon cubing, some neon lighting in some of those key spots that I think a good sign designer could come up with there. And be a unique, if they would bring back a more dimensional or some material changes, and then, we let it come back to the board for review.
That's what I'd like to see. I think y'all need to get together and give them some guidance on what to do.
Is that in your timeline? Is that?
I could push it back a little bit. Our goal was to try to get it open Memorial Weekend, but I can push it back a little bit.
Do you think y'all can approve it administratively, Jerry?
I think if he came back with a nice, something simple, a sandblasted sign or something like that, I think we could easily approve that administratively.
Okay.
So could you, I mean, if he's got a timeline for Memorial Day and you're serving ice cream and every hot month or week matters, is there any way you can give him, like, I don't know, you wouldn't make this sign and then come out with another one, but just some way to advertise his business
Put a vinyl banner up or something?
Yeah.
temporarily until the permanent sign is.
Yeah, I mean, we've
Ready with
allowed
staff
we've
approval.
allowed temporary banners before, yeah.
I mean, we didn't have a sign for
Yeah.
a good 8
For a
months.
while.
I mean, you want to make every dollar you can when the window's there for a new business. And
Make ice
hot
cream
months.
while the sun shines.
That's right.
I like Mike's idea of letting staff approve it administratively. I think we're all on the same page.
Come back with a
All right,
dimensional.
I'll make a
sign.
motion to allow staff to approve the administrative sign per what we discussed. And then, do we need to add the vinyl banner to that motion, or can that just be something y'all approve administratively?
We usually just approve those administratively since they're 30 days.
That's the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, certificate to be issued. Thanks. I want to thank everyone for their time today. Our next scheduled meeting is June 12th at 2 o'clock. And as of right now, we're adjourned.